last year. He came all the way from the Netherlands for our event, and will present the film. We'll now present the film, and there'll be an opportunity to discuss the film and maybe ask some questions about Jedym's work as well afterwards.
The Polish and Dutch authorities, accompanied by the Minister of Defense. In just a moment, Her Majesty Queen Beatrix will inspect the troops. Her Majesty Queen Beatrix.
Jej Królewska Mość, Królowa Beatrix.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy to welcome you all most cordially to this ceremony at which two prestigious Dutch honors will be conferred on Polish heroes who played an important role in liberating our country.
Kort na de slag om Arnhem schrijven Montgomery en Browning een beschuldigende brief over Sosabowski.
Polish fought very badly. Sosabowski brigade was not fully ready for battle. It would be better if new blood be brought in.
Kort daarop wordt Sosabowski oneervol ontslagen uit het Poolse leger.
Die macht heeft, kan de macht misbruiken en dan kun je een ander vernederen tot een huis.
Sosabowski vraagt de Britse regering om een onderzoek in te stellen naar zijn ontslag. Het onderzoek zal er nooit komen. Polen wordt niet bevrijd, maar ingelijfd bij het Oostblok. Eigenlijk wil Sosabowski het liefst terug naar Polen.
Sosabowski was dus geen geliefde Pool meer, hè? Een verrader tot en van zijn vaderland, dat geen communist te zijn en zo.
In 1947 wordt de Poolse parachutistenbrigade in Engeland opgeheven. Soldaten die wel teruggaan naar Polen wachten koude ontvangst. Sommigen worden direct gefusilleerd. Sosabowski's adjudant wordt tot 11 jaar gevangenisstraf veroordeeld. Het lot van zijn manschappen maakt de generaal verbitterd.
Als je leed niet kunt plaatsen in je leven, dan ga je gaan kapot.
Sosabowski staat op straat, zonder geld. Niet alleen de Britse legerleiding heeft de Polen nooit erkend, ook Nederland deed mee aan het grote negeren.
Weet je dat wij nooit een cent, geen gulden, geen dubbeltje aan die Polen die overleden zijn of vermoord hebben betaald hebben? Ons monument in Trul, dat is geld van privémensen, maar niets van de regering.
Geen van de Polen kreeg van Nederland een dapperheidsonderscheiding. Aan koningin Wilhelmina heeft het niet gelegen, zo blijkt nu uit documenten uit het archief van het ministerie van Defensie. De koningin geeft in 1946 het ministerie van Defensie zelfs opdracht een tiental Poolse parachutisten te onderscheiden.
Het ligt in mijn voornemen een tiental leden der Poolse strijdkrachten voor te dragen voor toekenning ener dapperheidsonderscheiding.
Maar waarom is deze voordracht niet uitgevoerd? Sosabowski vindt dat alleen gesneuvelde manschappen moeten worden onderscheiden. Hij stuurt een lijst met namen op, maar zijn voordracht wordt afgewezen. In zijn planstalige memoire schrijft hij:
Mij is toen verteld dat de Nederlandse regering dat ze niet akkoord gingen met mijn voorwaarden. Ze hadden niet het systeem voor postuum onderscheiden. Daardoor is de onderscheiding misgelopen.
Nederland was gewoon, kleinzielig, peuterig bezig.
Nederland had geen zin om de Britse zondebok van Arnhem te gaan kronen. Cora Baltussen hoort van een misgelopen onderscheiding en schrijft in 1961 een brief naar de koningin. Ze vraagt of de Polen alsnog kunnen worden onderscheiden. We vinden haar verzoekschrift terug in de archieven van het ministerie van Defensie. Op het voorblad is geschreven:
In dank terug, aangezien het hier geen militaire, maar een politieke aangelegenheid betreft.
Den Haag zat helemaal niet te wachten op die Polen.
Nee, absoluut niet. Wij waren zo keurig netjes bezig met hun dagelijkse plichten en wilden geen problemen hebben.
Cora heeft nooit geweten wat de reden was van de afwijzing. Prins Bernhard kent die reden wel.
U toonde me net een papier waarop staat: koningin Wilhelmina had dolgraag wat Polen decoraties gegeven en dat het departement van oorlog het niet gedaan heeft. Dat is zeker onder de, ik wil zeggen, invloed en misschien zelfs druk van Engelse zijde.
Na de val van de muren is generaal Sosabowski weer in eer hersteld in Polen. Kinderen leren op scholen weer over de held Sosabowski, die vocht voor de bevrijding van Nederland. In 1992 is de Sosabowski-brigade opnieuw opgericht in Polen. De brigade opereert in NAVO-verband en werkt samen met allerlei nationaliteiten, waaronder de Nederlandse commando's.
En dat heeft nog mijn leven heel erg beïnvloed. Ik denk iemand van 45, 47 of 50 jaar. In Polen lag dus stervend in de hoek van die ruimte. Hij kon Engels praten, dus die geef ik aan de hand gewoon, of je houdt ik aan zijn hand vast op zulke moment. Toen zei hij met een hele heldere stem, ik hoorde hem nog zeggen: Bring my love to Poland. Bring my love to my country. Bring my love to my family, please. God bless Poland. En toen de laatste woorden die onvoorstelbaar zijn: All men are brothers. En dat, geen haat, geen afschuw, geen kreten van tegen die en tegen die. En jullie zijn de schuld, de Duitsers, of wie dan ook. All men are brothers. Ik hoor het hem nog zeggen. En dat met een rust en een overtuiging en dan 3 minuten naar de hand. Dood.
And should never be taken for granted. Gratitude to our liberators is deeply felt in the Netherlands, and it is expressed anew each year. Sad to say, however, the courageous actions of General Sosabowski and his 1st Polish Parachute Brigade at the Battle of Arnhem, and the great service they rendered in the cause of liberating the Netherlands, have never been formally recognized. The award by the Dutch government of the 2 highest decorations for bravery our country can confer, the Militaire Willemsorde to the 1st Independent Polish Parachute Brigade and the Bronze Lion posthumously to its commanding officer, General Sosabowski, redresses this historical error. The decision, finally, does justice to the Polish forces who fought for the liberation of the Netherlands and to the exceptional courage they displayed. We honor, above all, those who sacrificed their lives in that conflict. May I now ask the commanding officer of the 6th Polish Air Assault Brigade to come forward and accept the insignia of the Militaire Willemsorde for conspicuous bravery, leadership, and devotion to duty on behalf of the 1st Independent Polish Parachute Brigade. Come forward and to accept, in the name of their grandfather, the insignia of the Bronze Lion for acts of conspicuous bravery and leadership.
It's 20 years ago still, and it was the beginning of my career, this documentary. And still there is no bigger story for me. I had never imagined that this story would have such a climax. The story behind it is really interesting, and a lot of people don't know it. And today I want to give you an idea what happened behind, or what happened in the backgrounds. But before that, I want to say, I want to introduce a bit. I'm from 1976. My name is Jan Lasje, a very difficult name. In Poland you have Jan, isn't it? Jan is a Polish name? Yeah, okay. So that name is Polish. And my last name is Lasje. And there are some stories that my last name is originally from Poland. So let's believe in it today. I'm a journalist. I started as a journalist. Now I'm a filmmaker. I'm a director. I'm doing lots and lots and lots of films in the Netherlands. Some films go abroad, but still, no film, no story has been bigger than God Bless Montgomery. I live in Rauwveen, a very small village, 1 hour from Amsterdam and 1 hour from Arnhem. Thank you for the invitation, Anna. Thank you. And we have a fantastic room here upstairs. Thank you for the hospitality. And the consulate, thank you so much that I have a chance to tell the story of God Bless Montgomery. moment, the Polish heart is in me since 1999, because that's the moment that everything started. It was 50 years. It's for Radio 1. It's a news program, and every day there are hundreds of reportages, and I could make one story about the Battle of Arnhem. So I started where everybody is starting. So you go to the Edynburgu Museum in Oostenrijk. And I was planning to do a story about the Red Devils and about the British in the Battle of Arnhem. So I went with the managing director of the Edynburgu Museum, Mr. Hoekstra, I guess. I went to the cemetery and I saw all these graves, but there were a couple and they were different. They were not in the same position. So I asked him, who are they? Why are they different? And then he said, in a way, with a kind of tone of voice, he said, oh, that's the Poles. And oh, these the Poles. And it was a trigger for me. It was a big trigger, because there was a tone in his voice. Because it's about these guys. And I can tell you a bit more about it. Because I'm from a very, very small village in the Netherlands. And it's a farmer village, and a lot of people are making jokes about that farmer village. So I have a weak spot for underdog people. So I guess if we are looking back, what is the reason why this story triggered me so much? I guess it's in this. So it's the tone of the managing director and my own background. So, 1999, I was just doing a radio reportage, and I went to, the first time, Cora Baltuston. She's very important. In a way, she is Mother Teresa for the Polish soldiers in the Netherlands. And I had a conversation with her at the Restaurant. The Restaurant is that hill, you know, that looking down that drill, not far from Oostenrijk. And I fully agree with her. This story would not be enough. And I promised her to come back, but I had no idea how. But we had a deal. We would do this story once again, and then for television. And this is Cora. It's an unbelievable woman. So the moment came in 2003, 2004, 60 years after the Battle of Arnhem. I was a young investigative journalist. And my job was, at that moment, a daily news and background program on Dutch TV, prime time. And it was achieved, always you need to get a chance, as you know, that's how it works in life, you need to have a chance. And I had a chief editor, and he knew a bit about these tools. And he gave me the chance, okay, let's make a bit longer reportage. He could not know at that moment that the full documentary takes 1.5 hours. But at that moment, he gave me a carte blanche for 80 minutes, 8 minutes. Okay, I had a lot of meetings with Cora Baltuston. 3 other persons are very important. It's Arno Baltuston, it's a cousin of Cora. It's Erik von Tilburg, and Andries Hoekstra. It would not be right not mentioning them, because they're very important. They helped me a lot. Okay, in 2003, 2004, Cora was old and depressed. She was really depressed. She fought, I guess, since 1944, she fought for rehabilitation for Poles. And she had no success. So, in 1999, she was optimistic, but in 2003, she lost hope. So, she didn't give me a chance that it would work out. But she was extremely sharp, and memory was fantastic. And she was still in her mind in 1944 as a Red Cross nurse helping, because she was living in Driel, and she had studied, she was a professional nurse, and then in Driel, at some day, a lot of Polish parachutists came down, and she had to do her work as a nurse, and that made her so involved. Okay, I went to Michael and the family Sosabowski, you all know them. And I went to the London Archives, I went to the Polish Institute, to the Sosabowski Museum. People helped me very well. And this is me, oh my goodness, very old, I don't know, I'm very young, but this is me and Michael. And I went, now it's getting interesting, I went with Michael Sosabowski to Poland, to the brigade in Krakow, and coincidence, the guy who helped me a lot, he's here in the front row, Mr. Piotr Bendik. I searched a lot after him, but now he's here. So it's in a way it's a coincidence, isn't it? Or you came, no, it's coincidence, isn't it? Okay. He helped me a lot. Because there is he. What is the name of the plane? It's an Orion or not?
Sorry?
What is the name of the plane?
It's Casa. Casa to night flight.
Okay, because there is a problem with that one, because it's flying very straight upwards.
Yeah.
So, what happened to our guy of Sons? He was sick. Yeah. Okay, you went to the monument. And yeah, I've interviewed lots and lots of veterans. And there is one, you cannot make a difference between them, but this guy, Alan McCarthy, he was brilliant in a way, and I will tell you more about it after a while, but first we want to, okay, they accused the Polish soldiers of fighting badly, but this guy, this Alan McCarthy, he fighted as a devil. And I have a quote in the film. This is me again. But now I will. This is a proof how wrong they were with that statement.
You see, the more you become an advocate, like a rat or whatever. I opened the door and said in Deutsch, Wie geht's? Wie geht's? En ze zijn er aan het schuldigen ineens. Shut the door. Toen liep hij naar de staircase. Wah! I entered the room and have seen the state he was in. And he was pretty well dying. So then just I stayed at the shoot and left him.
Okay, all right, so you should think about that. Okay, this is the proof, the documents. This is the one where it's stated. Okay. My story was in the Netherlands, so I had to find documents about that battle in our country, about how the Dutch people treated the Polish soldiers. And many times I heard there was nothing. Stop searching. And I could not believe that, because of course there are documents. Why not? And then there is a source, and he called me in the afternoon, and he said, oh, maybe I found something. Are you still interested? And I said, of course I'm interested. Send me. And these documents are crucial. Because in 1946, Queen Wilhelmina, he is the mother-in-law of Prince Bernhard, and he is the mother of Queen Beatrix, you saw in the archive. She was already prepared and willing to decorate the Polish soldiers. It was already in 1946. She ordered in a way the Department of Defense, okay, let's decorate them. But never done. And then I found another document, and it was in 1961, an attempt of Cora Baltussen to fulfill it still. It's a very important document, because she asked the government, okay, I heard you were willing to decorate the Polish soldiers in 1946, why haven't you done it? Please do it again. And then there is a handwritten note that it's a political matter. So we are in 1961, and Poland is already part of the Soviet Union, isn't it? Or the Russian part. And this is crucial. It's the last sentence. It's a political issue, don't do it. Okay, this is me with Cora, and Cora with Michael, and the guy in the background was my cameraman. He was a fantastic man, he died. And that's a big, that's not, no, I think he is not here anymore. Okay. I knew, okay, I have documents, I have a story, and there is a mission to rehabilitate and decorate the Polish soldier. Okay, but a story is a story, you need political pressure. And I knew political pressure is not enough, you need the highest authority in our country. So, there could be only one, that could be Prince Bernhard. And Prince Bernhard, he is, yeah, well, how can I describe him? He is a myth in the Netherlands. He's a... People love and hate him, or love or hate him, but he is not afraid, and he was during the war in London. So, but I did a couple of attempts to speak to him, so I had some lines in my network, and my plan was to ask him, what about the promise of your mother-in-law, about Queen Wilhelmina, that she didn't decorate them? This is prepared. So there were many lines to the royal family, and during a holiday, I got a phone call, it was in Corsica, and just a short notice, the prince wants to speak to you. But there's a problem. It was in my holiday, so it was July maybe. And he wanted to do the interview one day before the story was broadcasted. And the prince was old and sick. So I was really worried. Okay, so he's planning forward one day before broadcasting. And so there were a couple of months between it. So, you can imagine that it was making me nervous. So, I didn't count on the prince. It was too fragile. So I was trying to organize political pressure, majors, influences. So the Minister of Defense, Mr. Henkamp, he was willing to give an interview. And I sent him the documents I found. And it was very, very exciting, because personally, I thought he would immediately say, okay, I'm on, let's decorate, because the documents are clear. So I went to his office, and it's like yesterday, I went into his office and I saw him looking on a very little paper. And that is the moment I thought, okay, this is not good. If you have a positive message, why should you read on very little paper? And that was true. He said, I don't decorate, I don't rehabilitate. And I was at that time, I was very young and ambitious and eager, and I said to him, it was not good, but I said, you will regret it, because I'm going to the prince. And the minister said, I have nothing to do with him, I'm the boss. So it was a conflict already. Are you still in the story? Yeah. Okay. We are going to September 2004. That point we prepared. So I have my story, and I had a negative message of Mr. Henkel. I don't do it. It's a precedent. That's a good English word, isn't it? Precedent? Yeah, okay. Because then everybody wants to be decorated. Okay, I had to give my questions to how do you call it here in the United Kingdom? It's an office between journalists and the royal family. Is that what press, in a way. In the Netherlands, it's a bit. Okay. And the deal was only 5 political correct questions, 10 minutes, and then it's over. And my tactic was, don't say about the documents to the guys at the press office. Because then maybe they would say, okay, forget the interview, it's getting political incorrect. So we went that day to the palace and to the Brits, and we had all kinds of new rules we had to, and then the interview could start. And then my cameraman, Menno, said, okay, Geert-Jan, I'm sorry, but there is a problem. I have a technical problem with my camera. We have to wait for 20 minutes. So that was an awkward situation, because I was in front of the prince, he didn't know me. And we had to wait 20 minutes, so there was another moment that I thought, okay, he will do that, and he will annulate it. It's over. But he ordered white wine, and he was questioning me. How much do you know of the Battle of Largo? And he was impressed after a couple of minutes. And then he was telling a lot of things about his relation to, the British headquarters and the Poles. And then I had the courage, in between the interview, to give him the documents. And he said he was writing it, he was reading it. Okay, so this is my mother-in-law, and he's all okay. Okay, he said, okay, then I will give an unusual statement. Camera was rolling, and he said, and what he said is, it's a shame the Polish soldiers have to be decorated and have to be rehabilitated. Okay, this is the interview, this is in between, camera is broken, new camera getting, and now I'm discussing with the Prince. So I had a 30-minute interview with Bruce Bernhardt. And you heard what I mentioned here. But there was a problem after the interview. The National Information Service wanted to forbid him to broadcast this interview. Because I was too amicable with the Prince, and it was not correct. So they asked me to give the tape, so that it would never be broadcasted. But I said, okay, this is not the rules of free press, and I said, okay, you can drive after me to the office. And then we will discuss it on my office with my chief editor. And in the time between I was going to the office, something amazing happened. Because the Queen, because the Prince is not the Queen, the Queen, he overruled the system. And he said, if my dad wants to say this, then he can. It's unbelievable. Now, the documentary was big news in the Netherlands. The audience was moved and impressed. And the idea was, everybody thought, the official royal habilitation declaration will be managed soon. Everybody was thinking that. Because why not? Prince Bernhard died. And the last note he sends to me, I don't take back my words. But in the meanwhile, the Minister of Defense didn't want to decorate, despite the top official, and he is still a secret source of me. I can say to you that he's very special to the Polish people, and a very special soldier. I can still not mention his name, but he actually, I should have to mention his name, I cannot. But he, after, behind the scenes, he was moving and making pressure on the minister. Sir, you have to, it's an outstanding debt. And I made a lot of follow-up studies with that source. He was risking his job for me. And then in the end there were two parliament members, Hans van Dalen and Frans Timmermans. Pressure on the minister, and the end of the game was political majority forces minister to decorate and rehabilitate the Polish people. And this was the news. The camp, that is the minister camp, wants to have rehabilitation imposed on him. Okay. There's a funny thing because it was a thriller in that moment. And I went back to Mr. Alan Maconiak in London, and I had no idea if it would be good or bad, the decision of the minister. And we made two recordings with Alan Maconiak. The first one, then he was surprised and very up and happy that finally there was a rehabilitation. And the second one, that he was crying what a shame it was, that the Dutch didn't want to rehabilitate. It's very funny. Okay, now Cora died, and this is just a picture of her grave. It's real, and every year the veterans, and it's very sad that there's not that much veterans anymore. I don't know how much there are. Do you have any idea? 10, 20, 30? Okay, but the veterans are visiting her grave. It's very moving. So if you want to go to the Netherlands, go to her grave. So, 2006, the big official happening in The Hague. Queen Beatrix decorated Polish soldiers. Now, what you already saw, and it's quite unique because it's a massive happening. So this is our Queen. This is our two brothers. This is our Queen talking to the veterans. This is me with too long hair. Okay, this is the first moment the flag and the insignia and the decoration have been shown in Poland. Isn't it true? This is Poland, isn't it? Warsaw? Or was it? Yeah. And this is me interview with Polish television. So, I'm very, very delighted, and it's a big honor that the Polish government gave me the Cross of Merit in gold. And still, I have to say, without Cora, I never could do this to him. Cora is the main person, she's maybe holy for this story. Without Cora, no story. So I had a meeting with Donald Tusk, and he said, you did more than all Polish historians put together. It's, of course, it's exaggerated, but... And these are the documents of where we are. So, where are we now? 2019. In 2019, King Charles, then the Prince, was in the Netherlands. It was 75 years after the Battle of Arnhem. It's really unique. He puts flowers on the monument. But, no rehabilitation in the United Kingdom. Cora would be angry at that moment. I'm sure. She hated politicians. She was direct. And I think there's still a step to go. There is something to do here in the United Kingdom. And it's for me, it's a mystery why there was no big story about this subject in the United Kingdom. Of course, it started here. 2025, I still get a lot of reactions, mails from people in Poland. And it's very moving. And moving people tell their whole story, and then they are very delighted that I could make this story. And I always say the same two things. It was an honor and a duty, because I think as a journalist, you have to make the story. No doubt. There was a documentary, Generała. But in Poland, there is still a lot of ignorance. And a lot of people tell the wrong story. Because it's not that the Dutch government decided one day, one moment, okay, let's decorate the Polish soldiers. I hope I made it clear to you what a struggle it was. And I think that's the story of police, that there is always something political. And if you are just analyzing this whole story, in the end, it's just a document of 1946. It was an open net, and they could not decorate it, because it would always hunting after them, because the Queen wanted to decorate. Do you understand? So it was the minister chose the wrong path. Okay, I want to end with one of the most moving quotes and one of the most emotional quotes in my career. You already saw it in the summary of the 90 minutes documentary. It's what Cora Baltussen said about, because what was our key motivation? Because without Cora there was no rehabilitation, no decoration. It's because that woman, very young at that moment, she was a nurse and she was in touch with wounded Polish soldiers. And it did so much with her that she was struggling and fighting her whole life for rehabilitation. And it's very sad that she had no chance, because she died, to see it. But I want to end my story, and then you can ask questions, maybe you have enough, with that quote. I think it's $1 million quote.
It's like 35 years ago. But what I'm saying, what I would like to say right now is that what you just mentioned, there are a couple of historians who already started this process. If I'm not mistaken, there is this Polish-British historian, his name is Sawicki. Have you heard about? Sorry? Marek Sawicki. Stella Sawicki. He actually started this process and he wrote a book. I had a chance to be a part of that kind of meeting. That was like 3 months ago, if I'm not mistaken. And he actually met a couple of guys. I mean, he interviewed many guys from Montgomery's staff, the intel guy who was responsible for preparing the work plans for the operations, and he actually gave an interview that was like a 2.5 interview to Sawicki, and he actually explained about all of those doubts which Sosabowski had at the time, and he was on the Sosabowski side, and he already found those documents which were available for the public. Obviously, some of those documents are still secret. But those which are available for the public were actually taught by this historian, put into one research, and he wrote a book on it. So it is quite important. And probably that this process, hopefully, this process will start very soon. With your help also, because I know that you guys also are interested in that process. thank you again, to start that process on your side in the Netherlands. And I'm really happy that I was also a part of the project. I was, we spent like a week, if I'm not mistaken. So thanks for that. Yes.
I would just like to inform you that Marek Stella Sawicki was in this room 3 years ago and presented that material. Thank you.
And I'm still not thinking, hypothetically, it could be that Browning and Montgomery didn't meant it so sharp and so bad. It could be misinterpretation, that they had wrong information. So how big is it to just say, as a British government, we made a real mistake, or we made a mistake? How brave you are if you do that. Because that is what we are talking, and I'm thinking, okay, it could be just based on misinformation, but enormous effects. Because the life of Sosabowski was done afterwards, and with the soldiers working in factories and things like that. That's a shame. But maybe the source was not that evil like people think. That's what I'm thinking now. Okay, thank you.
Sorry, just one last thing. Is this film available online, or is it in an archive where it's accessible? No? Or you said there's a longer version as well, did you?
Yeah, it's in the Netherlands.
No way that is it copyrighted, or is it?
It's in the Netherlands. Because what I told you, it started with 18 minutes, 8 minutes, and it ended with 90 plus minutes. So for the Dutch television, it was getting more and more complicated. So yeah, nobody thought at that moment to translate it in English, but maybe we can.
I think that would be very useful.
Oh, see, he said, my son said he's much smarter. He said it's on YouTube. It's on
YouTube.
Yeah, but not with English captions. Okay,
but you can
let's wait.
It's switch on, it's automatically translate for you, from Dutch to English. That's how I watch. So YouTube automatically, taking the movie in Dutch and translate it with subtitles on the bottom in English.
I will discuss it once again, because there are fantastic statements of the veterans in it. So,
Sorry again, if that could be done, and if I don't know, a link could be given to the consulate who could or whatever, so that it's publicised, because it's a very important story. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And latest I would be happy to come back to the brigade once. I would like to tell the same story to your. Those records is a fantastic feeling. Okay, thank you so much.
Downstairs for a glass of wine.